Information now in a story we've been investigating all week. When an off-duty DC firefighter was shot during an attempted robbery last weekend, he could not get through to 911, so he called his firehouse for help.
Most people facing an emergency don't have a backup like that. 911 really is our lifeline. And tonight, we're learning some new details about staffing shortfalls on the night that firefighter was shot. Here's Katie Lusso.
Tonight we've learned OUC's minimum staffing for the night shift is 17 call takers, but the night the off-duty firefighter was shot, only 16 were on the floor and 6 of them were working overtime. Dave Hoagland, the head of the DC Fire Union, says there's no denying.
It's incredibly frustrating, kind of like a broken record.
Staffing issues at OUC are nothing new. On September 20th, after Zeke, as he goes by, was shot, he called 911. It was 10:10 p.m. He got a recording.
Just repeating, we'll get you when we get you.
So he had a neighbor call his firehouse directly.
And he said, "It's Zeke. I've been shot. I'm at 8th and C Northeast."
A minute later, 10:11 p.m., OUC says someone else called it in. At 10:12 p.m., dispatchers sent help, but Engine 18 was already on the way thanks to that direct call. At 10:13, 911 gets to Zeke's call. Police arrive on scene around this time. 4 minutes later, fire and EMS get on scene.
The more concerning thing is that 911 calls went unanswered and that there maybe were potentially other emergencies.
According to OUC data, 86.3% of calls were answered in 15 seconds or less September 20th. That number dropped to 84.5% on September 21st. OUC blamed the surge of calls the evening of the 20th, more than 20 in less than 10 minutes, for Zeke's shooting alone, for why some callers were left in the queue.
So no 911 center can plan for all the surges, but if you're not meeting your minimum staffing, there are more calls that aren't going to be answered promptly.
Public safety advocate and former WUSA 9 reporter Dave Statter has long tracked OUC issues. OUC says they want a minimum of 17 call takers working the night shift. Only 16 were working that night and 6 were on overtime.
What I understand is that at 10 p.m., the 6 people who had been held over from day work were allowed to go home. They could no longer do mandatory overtime.
He says that means when the shooting happened after 10 p.m., there may have been even less call takers working. OUC says they've been hiring and training new staff. However, their data shows that just in August, 29 of 67 shifts did not meet target staffing goals. One solution, Statter says, put fire and EMS supervisors back in the call center. He says he's not giving up, though, on the idea that OUC can be fixed.
And you really can't fix things until you know exactly what's going on.
Now, I've reached out to both OUC for clarity on the numbers and the council to see if they're looking into these issues. We will let you know once we hear back. I'm Katie Lusso. Back to you.